Before y'all roll, I'm going to introduce Travis Kelce. We ain't worry about EB. Travis Kelce, everybody. My best friend.
Thank you, man. Thank you. You gotta love that guy. What's going on, fellas? Let's go, man. Got the ambiance going in here.
What's up, boss? Respect, man. Yes, all right, cool.
He got the most pictures in here.
All right, Kelce.
One touchdown, one cutback.
What up, dog? Stories. Living, man. I appreciate you guys coming out here doing this too, man.
We appreciate you, man. We know
we
it's
had some
season.
fun doing this.
It's a beautiful city.
Yeah. All you see is salt on the ground at this point. It was so cold and so icy this past week, man. You guys caught it on a good day. It finally got up above 50.
That's right. What was it at game time?
Game time was like 10. We were lucky it was sunny, though. It was sunny, so it got up to like 20 by the time it was like mid-game.
So down in Miami, the Dolphins caught their second goldest game in team history. It was like, what, 45?
Yeah, there had to have been some records this weekend. This past weekend was wild.
That was miserable.
Buffalo couldn't even get back.
Bro, 45, though?
They shutting schools down in Miami at 45.
That's crazy.
So there was 20 at the crib. Louisiana.
Yeah, when I played in that cold, I was terrible. Your ass don't look no different.
Man, I love it. I grew up playing hockey, man. So it's like I'm used to sweating in the cold, being just, I don't know, it's kind of like my comfort zone. When it's over like 85, 90, now that's when you see I'm a different player. I'm moving slower. Whole body drenched. I'm going through like 6 different pairs of gloves.
Yeah, so he don't want week 1 in Miami then.
Oh, no. Keep me out of Florida. We were in Jacksonville one year for week 1, and it was above 100. And,
I remember that.
oh, man, I was lucky Sammy Watkins went off.
Yeah, Sammy snapped.
Week 1 Sammy. Week 1 Sammy.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, cap, pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Get my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, get me up. On a mission, get me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, cap, pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Get my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, get me up. On a mission, get me up.
Man, welcome to the Pivot, man. It's
an honor, man.
No, we talked about this. We saw you in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Probably around the Pro Bowl. So this is something we've been wanting to do. So on behalf of Channing, Freddie T, me, man, we really appreciate it. You understand how time is during the season, and we know how precious it is for you guys, because y'all always chasing chips, right?
Yeah.
It's other teams that start training camp. They ain't really chasing chips. Like, they understand, okay, are we going to tank to get the number 1 pick, or are we going to work real hard to get 4? Mm-hmm. You know, for you guys, it's been consistently in the AFC Championship the last 4 years. 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl ring. You're on the list now, man, with names Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten,
crazy,
Antonio Gates. But, you know, in learning a little bit about Travis Kelce, man, I saw your Cincinnati picture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The fade wasn't as tight. You know what I'm saying? The beard. The beard was grown in, but it wasn't edged up. You know, you couldn't get the right barber yet. But I want to know a little bit about Cleveland Heights QB.
Oh, yeah.
Travis Kelce, and what made that kid, at least at that point, special enough to now be one of the greatest tight ends that ever played the game.
Man, I appreciate all that too, and definitely I wasn't getting the fade as often as I was and as I am now. That's for damn sure. But it's been a growing process, and throughout my life I've really had to kind of mold myself along the way, and I feel like that's been the biggest thing is. Growing up in Cleveland Heights, you got such a melting pot of people that I got a very good understanding of a lot of different walks of life, both social class, racial. It's helped me relate to a lot of people, so I always have fun, man. When I tell you I'm always trying to have fun, always trying to, brighten the room that I'm in. And when I was younger, I was a competitor on the field, but I wasn't fueling my profession or my career. I was just out there just winging it and having fun. And, if the ball came my way or if I was a quarterback and I had the ball in my hands, I was having a blast, whatever I was doing. It wasn't until college that I really, I got caught up in having too much fun off the field, and it took me out of school. It took me off the team for a year, and I kind of realized, all right, if I really want to do something in this world, and athletics were my life, my family, my mother, my father, they fueled me, gave me everything possible to enjoy sports. And I'm so thankful for that. And obviously I have an older brother, Jason, who plays in the league. And he was a huge part of my competitiveness and my ability to, have to do more than just have to think more. You know what I mean? Because going up against a guy bigger, stronger, faster, you got to figure something else out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where you I always mess around with him. He always calls me a flanker. I'm always trying to figure out you know what I mean? The small things that I can trick you with. But yeah, growing up and finding that mold of professionalism on top of having fun. I wouldn't change the journey. Not a single part of it, man. And it's been awesome. But definitely that QB world helped me figure out, you know, what that pocket feels like for a guy. And
you can see it in the way you play, though, the way you find zones, work with Patrick too, though.
Yeah,
so.
but I was never that dude back there, and that's why they moved me to tight end.
Hey, Trav, listen, going back to 2010, and not necessarily being overly descriptive, unless you want to, having football taken away from you or losing football, or however you want to frame it, what was that year like to you? Was it like one of the most humbling moments in your life?
Man, I had one other humbling experience, but it was more of a knucklehead experience in high school where I failed French and couldn't play my brother's senior year of high school. And you guys know, everybody knows at this point how close me and my brother are. Right. And the year I got kicked out of Cincinnati was actually the year that was my brother's senior year. So I missed both my brother's high school and senior year, the year that I'm like actually supposed to be on the field with him, sharing the field with him. And it was more embarrassing that I did that for the second time, but even now, so further down the road when it means more, you know, I think it was a point in my mind where it was just like I couldn't even look my father in the face. I couldn't, you know, when I talked to my mother, it was just certain things that, you know what I mean? I just, it was a very, like you said, it was a humbling experience, and it built character in who I am and who I wanted to be. And it's something that, you know, like I said, I wouldn't take it back for the world because it gave me so much perspective on, you know what I mean, how eyes were viewed on me, right, instead of how I was just out here for free living and having fun. You know what I mean? The way I was working, the way I portrayed myself, it was like I had a TV watching myself so I could understand how I was portraying myself to everybody else. And once I figured that out, and it wasn't being, you know, uncharacteristic, I wasn't being somebody else. I was just being more professional, or not necessarily more professional, but just being a better teammate, being a more focused individual on certain things so that everybody knew my intentions were going in the right direction.
Right. And I know Chan will probably like this. Back in college, I went to the law school and stole books and got suspended 4 games. That was the worst moment in my...
Freddie T, what you doing stealing law books for?
You weren't going to read them.
I was an accomplice. No, I wasn't going to read them. I was an accomplice. Yeah, I was an accomplice.
What you doing stealing boxes?
That's
you
history. It made me a better person. And for that reason, I'm here today. But no, just an extremely low moment in my life. But I went back and had talks with my grandmother, and she's like, look, I need you to read Psalms 127 every day, right? I did that in college. I read it throughout my entire career before Sundays. I wanted to ask you, what subtle changes did you make that made you a better person going forward?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I was extremely fortunate. I kind of mentioned being embarrassed. It wasn't just my mother and my father. It was all the parents in the community that I grew up in that I felt like I had embarrassed too. You know what I mean? Like the people that really helped me, and supported me growing up. So many people that vouched for me in that situation. My brother being one of them. I know Bob Mangine, the head trainer at University of Cincinnati, who was another one of them that vouched for me to be able to get back in to at least be able to work my way back onto the team. And Butch Jones, the head coach at the time, the one that is originally kicked me off, but then kind of got some word that I might have been, you know, might not have been just a lost cause. Right. And so he told me that I had guidelines that I had to go through. And what it did is it created routine and structure in my life that I hadn't taken serious up until that point. Right. And once I found that routine, I began to use that in every aspect of my life. I started using it when I watched film. I started using routine when I, you know, lifted weights or when I was training and things like that. And it programmed my mind to be able to find how can I get better as a person in all these little aspects of life. My barber growing up, one day, actually, I went over there on my lunch period to get a fade before I had a Friday night basketball game, and he was telling me, listen, man, I don't know if you're supposed to be up here, but I'm at least going to give you some education while you're here. Right. He told me to go look up Carnegie Mellon's The Last Lecture, and it was a lecture of a professor that was going through a certain type of sickness to where he didn't really have that long, but he wanted to give this last lecture, and the entire school knew about it, and everybody showed up. And it was a beautiful story about, you know, how he kind of figured out what mattered to him. And it's not how you achieve your dreams, it's how you lead your life, and the direction and the routine that you set, and how focused you are on the little things. That's how you achieve everything. You don't focus on the big goal at the end and have all this hope and desire. Like, all that's good, everybody has that. But it's the ones that strategically put it in place every single day that really figure that out. And man, like I said, when I started to really get into that routine, man, I just took off. And honestly, football became so much more fun because I was having so much more success. I wasn't just banking on my athleticism. I was using my mind to open up things and do things on the football field that I had never been able to do.
And you talk about going to the barbershop. They got the pictures up and you point what you want. Right? Is that the barbershop you use still? Or back in the day you used when you had no money?
For sure.
You got to do to come to the crib now, I know.
Yeah.
When you have them pictures up, Trav, when did you start pointing to the black guys? Because you don't wear white boy haircuts.
Honestly, I didn't get the tight fade until I got to college. I had kind of just like the two all over and just lined me up. And my mom started that when I was in middle school. I actually didn't start to go to the barbershop till high school, but I started to go to the barbershop, University of Cincinnati. Crispy Chris, man. UC. You already know. It was one of them up there. I don't know which one. I don't know what number it was, but it was one of them. I said he asked me if I wanted a fade, and he kept that thing right up here too. It was a high fade. Man.
He had to be a boost.
It came down a little bit. It came down a little bit since.
He left them no temp. He had the bootsy. What, like that swag though, because that's something that people know about you. You're accepted by every woman in the world, every color, every size, every age. They love you.
You understand? My daughters. Like, when I get home, I'm going to be the greatest dad to ever live. I told them that when I met him. Like, my daughter, they knew we were coming out over the weekend. She was like, Dad, you're so lucky. I was like, why? I was like, I don't care how he looks. I'm just care that he's good at football.
Yeah, I hear the when he does post-game press conferences. What's that supposed to mean? You hungry? You thirsty? What's that noise?
She wants some Skyline chili.
But where did that's the look is there. You're a good-looking dude. Hell, I want to be on Catching Kelce if you have season 2.
Man.
I might win.
I said I didn't have a regret. That might have been the one right there.
Hey, I'm charismatic. I might get the top 3. I get a rose. Whatever.
Hit up E. He'll get you right.
But that swag, did that come with being successful on the field, athletically? Like, that swag you got is worldwide known. Where did that come from?
That's the Heights, man. That's Cleveland Heights. I was mentioning earlier, it's a multicultural. You know, you got a lot of different races, a lot of different ethnicities, social classes. You get an understanding of a lot, and we had such a huge school. I think our graduating class was over 1,000 kids, so we had 4,000 to 5,000 kids in the school. And it's like, you're going to a school like that, especially an artsy school, an artsy neighborhood. Kids are going to work just so they can get fresh for class. And I was always the athlete, so I really didn't have a job until college in the year that I got kicked out. But I was always just in sweats and a hoodie, kind of like I am now. But I was always ingrained in, you know, the fashion culture. It all starts from the ground up. You know, Jordans when I was in 4th grade hooping, and you know that the LeBrons in Cleveland were everything when I was going through high school. And it's just, you know, just being yourself. Being yourself. I have so much, the tight-knit group that I got, you know, that's that style. Like, we're all kind of one and the same. And just being natural, being genuinely who I am, I guess. But it's definitely from Cleveland Heights for sure.
You know, you say that, though. You're from Cleveland Heights. Parents, Ed, Donna, correct? Big bro, Jason. One of the very few families in the world that could say they have 2 children who've won Super Bowls, right? Achieved the greatest goal in our sport. And mom's going, you know, from one game to another game in the playoffs. And it's one of those things, and it's one of those moments. It's like it allows the world to know that whether your kids are all pros or whether your kids, you know, work at AT&T, family is family. And you love your family. But you're talking about Cleveland Heights and swag and all that. Your brother just went to the game dressed as Doug Whitmore for 51st Dates. You know, you guys are actually really different, but the show is excellent because you do have those differences, but you bring the best out of one another, man. What has that relationship meant to you throughout your life?
And my brother's got the swagger too. He just doesn't wear it. You know what I mean?
Well, he said he don't dress up, though.
Exactly. Yeah, he dresses as. He can dress up as somebody, but he's not going to dress up for something.
Right.
He's a nutcase, man. My brother is he's one of a kind, and to be honest, where you see the differences is kind of in that high school area. We both grew up playing the exact same sports. I was on the court more in terms of basketball. My brother, we both played hockey growing up. I kind of mentioned that earlier, but he played through high school and actually played lacrosse in high school too. And he was also in the band. He was a jazz band guy. I think he played with the Cleveland Orchestra at one point, or the Cleveland Symphony at one point. And it had that musical touch, so that's kind of his realm. He's almost like that band geek. He was the one that was getting like 25 tackles a game, but at halftime was in the band, marching band,
Right.
with his uniform on. And that's Jason, man. He's a jack of all trades, and I've been so fortunate to be able to follow his footsteps, and that's the biggest reason I went to the University of Cincinnati. What it means to be comfortable, be confident in where you are. I see that guy have success, and I know that I could have similar success because, you know what I mean, we're cut from the same cloth. I've just been so fortunate, like I said, the family that I've had, the community that I've had, I'm definitely my brother in my life to be able to pave the way, because I've just been following his footsteps ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, I read somewhere too, you say you were 87 because it's the year he was born.
1987. It was, when I first came in, you couldn't just get whatever number. So it was either the 80s or the 40s, and 87 was just the number that made the most sense. I know I wouldn't be here without my brother. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for that guy. So I definitely wanted to pay some tribute to him.
I was listening to you guys on the podcast New Heights when you had Patrick on. Mm-hmm. And there was a segment, I guess he asked Patrick if he was going to get some Skyline chili.
Uh-huh.
And you guys was playing Cincy. So I wanted to ask you, Skyline chili or KC barbecue?
I'm taking KC barbecue every day, twice a day.
Okay, beans or mac and cheese?
I'm mac and cheese, man. That's the reason why I can't really do chili. If it's coming out the same way it's going in, man, I'm out of there,
chili
man.
Too. Looks a little overrated. Last one. White meat or dark meat? Got to answer this carefully.
I know the answer.
Respectfully, I'll take the dark meat. Just it tastes good. It tastes a little bit better. It's a little. But you already know I don't discriminate on the chicken, baby.
Trav, man, everybody always sees the end result, though, right? The end result is you're going to go down as one of, if not the best pass-catching tight end to ever live.
Yeah.
Another guy that played in this organization, Tony Gonzalez, is the gold standard of that. You get to be reminded of that sort of greatness each and every day when you walk into this building. You didn't play a snap as a rookie, though. And I don't think people will think about 2013, in that way and understand that. That sort of experience, how does that affect you, or how does that change you, especially after you said you had to be regimented, you had to get organized, you had to be focused in order to even get to that point? A team now drafts you in the third round, you have an opportunity to fulfill a goal or fulfill a dream, and then that first year goes like that.
Man, you want to talk about struggle. That was arguably almost a harder year than the year I got suspended, because it was, like you said, I'd finally done the things that I needed to do to get back in the good graces of everybody, to get back into football and the dream that I had to play in the NFL. And it just swept right out from under me. And to have a microfracture surgery, which at the time, if you Google microfracture, man, it is, you just see this guy's career ended, this guy's career, and it's just like, man, there's only like a 70% chance that you'll get back to full health type deal. And that was all demoralizing to me. And I had never really had like big time leg injuries or knee injuries and things like that. So I really wasn't sure what was next. But it was the ultimate, growing experience for me to be able to refocus, to kind of focus in on why I was having the issues in my knees. And I became more understanding about the anatomy of the body. How am I supposed to be out here? What muscles in my body need to be loose for everything to be working perfect. And I feel like I've mastered that since that year. And I'm not sure if I'm having the longevity in the career that I'm having if I don't lock in on those kind of things and just get curious about that world. because I think it's helped me out a lot. And obviously, I'm not the only one that I didn't just naturally go at it. There's guys and the training staff that's in this building. David Glover, one of my favorite people that I've ever met in this business, athletic trainer for us. He helped me out and did my rehab through it all, and really all the surgeries that I've had. And just picking his brain on a lot of the things really helped me figure out, the anatomy of my body and how I need to get things going.
TK, you mentioned, Fred asked you a question about chili and barbecue. I'm gonna take it a step farther to where we are now. The team that's in Cincinnati right now could say something about the Kansas City Chiefs that no one in your career could say, especially anyone playing football right now could say. 3 times in a calendar year, they've beaten you guys. And when the playoffs come, it's going to be the Buffaloes. It's going to be the Cincinnatis. What are y'all doing right now to put y'all in the place to be ready for those challenges? Because y'all the Golden State Warriors now. Teams are being put together to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's their goal. And now they have, because you got a Patrick Mahomes, we got to go have a Josh Allen. Because you got a Patrick Mahomes, we have to go have a Joe Burrow. We got to have a defense that's built strong in the middle to stop 87. Right now, what is your focus on making that next journey back to the Super Bowl?
To keep growing, man. And that's the biggest thing in this business is to keep growing. You can get schemed up in a heartbeat in this game. And there's certain things that another team can do that can just make you take a second or a half a second longer. And that half a second is everything in the league. And as I'm honestly, I don't want to say I'm not worried about other teams, but I'm focused on the Kansas City Chiefs. I know what we're capable of. We haven't put a complete game together against that team, and hats off to the Bengals. And hats off to Buffalo for the time that they beat us, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that, put that out there on film. And playing against them, they're the reasons why, everything kind of unfolded the way it does. So hats off to them for getting the wins, but I'm focused on the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I know if we go out there and we play flawless football, there's not a team that can beat us.
And that offense now, we all know about 1-5. We know Mahomes is that dog. Playing for him, and now we talk about it. You were the number 1 target when Reek was here.
Yeah.
If you really want to be honest with it. But now Reek's gone, and now you're seeing more touchdowns than you did in the past. But playing with him, we see him underhand flip, kick balls off his goddamn heel into the end zone for people to catch. Like running routes for him, and he starts scrambling. Is it a different than you've ever seen dealing with any other quarterback in your career?
It's get jiggy time, baby. As soon as he gets out that pocket, I know there are no. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
I know there are no fucking rules, man. I mean, everything's out the window. I know what play it is. I know what coverage it is, so I know where everybody's at, and I'm running to where nobody is. Right. And I know he, no matter which direction he's going, he can throw it anywhere on the field at any time. And that's what makes him special, man. He just keeps growing within the system because he becomes more of the professional pocket passer to where when he was in college, he kind of mentioned this a little bit too. When he was at Tech, there were times where they weren't the better team and he had to just figure it out. You know what I mean? When you're playing up against the top dogs and, the O-line or D-line or your wide receivers aren't better than their DBs and, you know what I mean, all across the board, it's kind of like, man, I don't really know where we got the matchup. Well, 1-5 was back there shaking and putting up crazy numbers against, arguably teams that were just that much better than him. So he's got an ability to, over the course of a season or over the course of a game, figure out exactly what's going on and manipulate it in his advantage. And it's the most special guy I've ever played really sports with because he has that ability to do that. And how he can ad-lib as well as how he can grow in being a pocket passer and being a game manager in the pocket, on time, progression type stuff, like all that stuff. He's working his tail off at becoming just that much better at it. And it obviously is showing this year because he's having one of his better years.
And I got to bring up the puppet master, the guy I respect, one of the
Big Red,
the most in the league because I played. He was with the Eagles when I was playing, and going to play the Eagles when he's there, you can watch all the damn film you want. He's gonna come out on one of the first or second plays. You're gonna see a formation, a motion, a shift of a personnel you've never seen
He's gonna
before.
stress your rules. You already know.
You've played with him a long time. Does he surprise you on install day?
Sometimes, yeah. There'll be a play I'll be like, both get excited for because I know it's going to be wide ass open, and both on the other side like I don't know if that's going to be open. Then be in the game and it is wide ass open.
Yo, you still question Andy?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm watching the same film he's watching, or at least I think I am. He's just got a way better imagination on what can work and what can't work. And yeah, that's what makes Coach Reid in my mind the greatest offensive coordinator or offensive mind ever in this game. His leadership makes him one of the best head coaches ever in this game, and it's my job to get him all the Super Bowl rings so I can say he's the best and I can brag that my guy's the best. But he's been so crucial and critical for my success. When I tell you I came in as an inline wide tight end, I was 265, close to 270 by the end of the year, playing the wide tight end and with my hand in the ground, and he's kind of molded this offense into the type of skill sets that his players got, and he's done that everywhere he's been at. But he kind of saw something different in me at the tight end position and how I would work my leverage on deep crosses, on shallow crosses, how I would work the basic cross ins, 10-yard in routes, and he saw how I could have success, and I understood the number count and everything on where guys would have to go, and I've been so fortunate that he's helped me progress as a player in the passing game because it's just, it's been a whole lot of fun running routes and catching passes and being a part of this offense throughout the years. And kind of there's a little bit of honor and pride that, Coach Reid is that great and I'm one of those pieces that are, just a part of the madness, man.
Even going back to 15 really quick and just looking at him from afar, I've never had a chance to meet him yet. But watching you guys play, you can see the intensity and the passion that he brings in his play. But more than that, he finds time to celebrate with each of you. Going back to that game this year, you had the 4 touchdowns. You're always breaking records left and right. It seems that he's more excited for you, in your success, than he is with all of the success that surrounds him. Speak to that and the type of character person he is and how he is with all of his teammates.
That's 1-5, man, and that's how he's been since he got here. Like you said, Alex was still that guy his first year. You know what I mean? Like he was told that Alex would get the starting job and he would be able to, be that guy for us. And 15, Pat was just the best teammate you could possibly have. When it was scout team and he was going up against the number 1 defense, my eyes were on the show because he was doing some of the craziest shit that I had ever seen.
You say against scout team, that just doesn't
like that.
Seem
like he knew it wasn't as serious as what being the number 1 quarterback was. So he's really testing the waters now. He's throwing it behind the back, no look passes all over the field, rolling out right, throwing it all the way to it was just like, oh wow, that's what's capable. All right, that's what he's capable of doing, and he was just dropping them in the bucket every single time he would throw it. Back to him just being a competitor and a teammate, man. His pops grew up he grew up watching his pops in the MLB.
Yep.
So he's in those locker rooms. You want to talk about a diverse league.
Right.
You're around a big old melting pot of people in baseball and the MLB, right? Yep. Guys that aren't even speaking your language. So he's had a unique upbringing being around his father and being around those locker rooms to see how guys do it the right way and how guys do it the wrong way. And he's in it for the right reasons, man. And it was one of the most refreshing things is to see a top pick come in, especially at the quarterback position. Everyone kind of understanding like eventually he's going to take the lead, but coming in humble enough to be able to learn from a guy like Alex Smith that helped him, if you even ask him, took his game to a completely different level, seeing the professionalism that Alex had. He's just the ultimate competitor, man, and he's a team-first guy. That's why he likes to spread the ball around. He likes to get excited when guys are out there making plays, because he's all about the team, man, and it's always been like that, man.
No, I want to ask, did you guys flinch when Cheetah was announcing his departure to Miami?
I don't want to say I kind of caught wind of it before it happened. It was eye-opening when it did happen, because it was like, man, that can't be real, man. You know what I mean? That's a guy that I call my brother, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy as hell for his success. I'm so happy because of the big decision that he did make. it didn't just backfire on him. He's still going out there being the Tyreek Hill that we all know he can be. And you know, I can't say I love that guy enough, because what he was for my career, grabbing all that attention on the football field, it made my life so much easier. And on top of that, he's just a great teammate, man, great guy to have in the building. But it definitely ripped my heart out when it happened, man. I was a little down about it at first, but at the end of the day, man, he made a lot of money.
No doubt about it.
I can't sit here and say I wouldn't do the same thing, because I'm not getting $30 million thrown at me. $30 million a year at least.
Right.
And it's just like, man, you know what? I know we got something special here, and I know we got the players and the coaches to be able to keep this thing going. And to be honest, it was a challenge, and it was a refreshing challenge, and it was kind of like a regroup to get back to, you know, creating this offense around new pieces. And the feeling of that new, man, you can't say enough about, you know, how motivating that is, how exciting it is when you see the new pieces go in and make those big plays, big time moments, crucial moments. And it's a whole different energy when you see it for the first time than when you see the consistency of it. You know, you just know that Tyreek Hill is going to eventually get open down there.
Yeah.
Well, he's not here anymore. So now we're sitting here waiting on that big play, and it finally happens. Juju Smith's out there flying around. It's just like,
right, we got one.
I love that, because he's a great dude. He's done nothing but come in here and be the best teammate he can and just work his ass off. So it's like all that built up, and that's why you really see the success you're seeing this year out of us, or at least not the drop off that a lot of guys a lot of people were expecting because of the Tyreek Hill trade. It's because our leadership up top, Coach Reid, Brett Veach, the whole front office, everybody just dialed back in, and we put together a team that we know we could go out there and win with, man.
You know, that leads me to a question I had coming in. You mentioned the new pieces. One piece that's not new is you. The other piece is 15. And I said it in the offseason. I said you can only make that sort of decision when you have belief in somebody that's the quarterback. I said, and also, too, when you have not only an explosive player, but a dependable player like TK. But you guys are no longer judged on how many games y'all win in the regular season, right? It's about where we finish when all the marbles are laid on the line in mid-February. Mm-hmm. You know, we've texted a little bit just in getting to know each other, and you talked about leadership and wanting to go out and lead and wanting to be a part of the reasons that you guys win. When you talk about all those new pieces, how much pressure do you feel individually to more than play your part in what has to be done here in order to get another ring?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's pressure, because I genuinely, I feel the want to be able to do that. I think that's just being a good teammate, putting your heart in the right place, and you know what I mean, wanting to have that drive to help everybody out, make sure everybody's on the same page, communicate. We just saw Eric Bieniemy over-communicate, communicate. You know what I mean? He's always harping on guys being on the same page. And, you know, that's just been a part of the leadership that we've had here, is to make sure that kind of the veteran guys help along the younger guys. And there's no bad feelings of, if this younger guy is better than me, put him out there.
Right.
I've been the first guy to say Noah Gray, Jody Fortson, Blake Bell. Those are great tight ends. Mm-hmm. If there's something that I can't do right now, or there's something like I'm dog shit tired on the sideline, and you call that one play that you know I'm gonna get open for, I'm trusting Noah Gray, Jody Fortson, and Blake Bell to be able to make that play. And I feel like having that just passion and desire to be able to want that for the guy next to you, and to want it so bad that everybody's on the same page and everybody's doing the same things. Everybody's helping each other out in that regard. It really doesn't put pressure on everybody to do that. It's just, it makes it just that much more fun of an environment to keep growing. You know what I mean?
I was about to change the topic to something.
I know what you're about to do.
Yeah, because you said, we always ask about regrets, and you already brought it up. With the catching Kelce, this is right up my alley. What was that experience? Why do you regret it? And what is it experience to be chased around by women for weeks?
It was extremely awkward, because I really didn't have much to say about what we were doing on the show. It was kind of just E took it. And I turned down the show about 100 times is what it felt like. I kept having my manager come to me and tell me, oh, they're gonna do, they want a dating show. I'm like, I don't think so, man. I don't know about reality TV. It doesn't always, what kind of TV is it gonna be? Bachelor, or are we talking Flavor of Love? You know what I mean? Which one are we talking here? And then it's all right, I don't think I'm gonna do it. And he comes back, he says, all right, well, they said 50 women, one from each state. I was just like, well, that's kind of intriguing. But I don't think I'm gonna do it, man. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So I told him no for probably a good 3 months, and finally it came to me, and this is the real reason. They came to me with an offer financially that I was just like, all right, man, I got to do this. I was so bad financially my first couple years, and I said this on Club Shay. I said this on Shannon Sharp's podcast or show, and he. I literally went through my first couple checks like it was nothing. My season checks, all of that. I was having so much fun buying whatever the hell I wanted to, going wherever the hell I wanted to. I wasn't financially looking at this as, I need to have money down the line. So there were times in the off season I was avoiding the rent lady. I was just, you know what I mean? It was that bad. Yeah. It was that bad. So I heard about the situation where I can make 6 figures in 2 weeks, and I was like, and 50 ladies. I'm like, this is actually starting to sound a little better. It's a little intriguing. But at the end of the day, I don't think I got portrayed as myself. And there were a lot of things that just made me uncomfortable about the show that I don't really necessarily want to talk about because I don't want to say anything about the ladies and, any of them. But it just, I was asked to do more than what I wanted to. And that doesn't always work out great. That doesn't always work out great. Yeah. It was, I don't necessarily say I regret it, but it was definitely a learning experience. I know I'm not going back into reality TV.
Yeah, I bet that. For you though, but like at your core, you just seem, one, you're a good dude, but you're a football player. And sometimes, based on blessings, right, on being handsome, on having style, on being charismatic, you do get those opportunities. And those opportunities kind of transcend football. Mm-hmm. And now whether it's a clothing line or all of these things you get into, people know you away from what you do for a living. Mm-hmm. But that also gets into how you live your life, whether it's dating and all of those things.
Oh, yeah.
How much of an adjustment has it been for you to now know that I'm more than just Travis Kelce, 87 of the Kansas City Chiefs? I'm this person and this brand that people want to know about, but part of that is being dragged down as well.
The brand that you have is, I don't want to say it's everything, but that's your resume. That's what people are going to judge you by. That's what people are going to, pay you off of. That's everything off the field that I feel like you got to focus on. And I will say this, what that show did for me, Kelce, what that show did for me was it got me out from under the face mask. Mm-hmm. And that was the start of understanding even more so on the grand scheme of things, how I was being viewed. And from that show, at that point on, I was very strategic about how I wanted to be viewed in the media and how I wanted my brand to be represented. And I think it was the ultimate learning experience. But that's I don't think enough people realize that brand is it's everything, especially in the off season when football is not for months away. What those rooms that you're in and what you're showing people can give you a whole different life that football can't even really provide for you.
It's the new year, and we're in a great place to celebrate. There is no New Year's festival or event like New Year's in Times Square. But that also means that we're halfway through the college basketball season, and DraftKings wants to give you a little more convincing so you pay attention. So any new customer that uses the promo code PIVOT, any $5 wager on a college basketball game, you instantly get $200 in bonus bets. And that's not all.
And you want a way to wager that $200 in bonus bets? Try the same game parlays. Bet who's going to win, by how much they're going to win, and even bigger winnings can come to you on the back end. I love same game parlays.
Hey, but the only way that can happen, you got to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right here on your mobile device. It is as simple as 1, 2, 3. You get the money like 1, 2, 3.
Hey, you never know, man. He could probably be on Could Have Been Records right now. And remember, any new customer, any $5 wager on any college basketball game, you get $200 in bonus bets when you sign up and use the promo code PIVOT.
And being two good-looking dudes, I have to, do this.
So are you closing the room off to just y'all two?
It's just us if I'm turning.
Okay, I see you closing the room off.
But being two just guys that just take over rooms like we do. So one time a girl gave me a coupon book of promiscuous actions that I could cash in as coupons with her as trying to get me.
Man, I ain't heard of this one.
A coupon book, a Project Pat CD, and a Starburst Heart Circle. And that was the best performance a woman's ever done to try to gain the love of a 10. What's the wildest thing that you done seen a woman in the DMs? A girl trying to shoot at you? What's the craziest thing?
I would say just persistency, man. There's some ladies that'll you'll see it, and it's just like, it's almost every single day, just a different note or a different, hey, what's up? And it'll be for probably almost like a year straight. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't even want to get into
Give us
this old.
Some sympathy, Trav.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a, hey, I see you trying, but I'm going to respectfully say no. Nah, I can't even do it. I can't even open the floodgates for that one. I can't even think of anything that's that out of the ordinary, man. Yeah, you'll see. If I do, I'll let you know.
Who got you now? What's the situation now? Who got you now?
I'm in the free market right now, man. I'm out there just enjoying life, focused on my profession, and got my feet up outside of football.
And the store.
I'm outside though.
You had a girlfriend for a while, very public. Mm-hmm. The story that you were too damn cheap.
Man.
That story was crazy, man. I needed out the horse's mouth.
How crazy is
That
that?
man told you he blew through money the first few years.
So now I'm watching, I'm listening, I'm like,
He trying to change his life.
Don't buy into that shit. Don't buy into that shit. I'm not saying I would never say that I was supporting her. She had a very financially stable life and what she was doing in her career. But you got to be crazy if you think I'd never helped or gave her a couple $2 to grab some food, or she gave me some money to go get some food. You know what I mean? We were in a relationship for 5 years.
Yeah.
$100 here and $100 there wasn't even thought about. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. The City Boys thought we had us one, didn't we?
So I'm gonna pivot really quick, man, because I think this is important. And say you focus on football. You're an 8-time Pro Bowler in 10 years, in a 10-year career.
That's crazy.
3 times All-Pro, gonna be 4 at the end of this season. Your predecessors, Shannon Sharp, Hall of Famer. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler and a 4-time All-Pro. And Tony the GOAT Gonzalez. He's a 14-time Pro Bowler. 17-year career. And a 6-time All-Pro. Are you the best tight end to ever play the game? Because no doubtedly you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I appreciate that, man. I feel like I got so much respect for those guys. I can't say that I'm just flat out the best that ever played the game. You got to throw a guy like Gronk in there. You got to throw a guy like Antonio Gates, who paved the way for a guy like me for sure, built that trust at the tight end position to get that many catches, that many targets. And there's a bunch of names that I could keep going on, but.
Right.
Well, Tony Gonzalez beat Channing for 8 for 150 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm that realistic person. Like if they ask me, can you cover Trav? I'd be like, hell no, coach, don't do that. I switched out on Jeremy Shockey one time because I looked over there. Nope, never mind. Who's in that backfield? so I know, but Tony in Atlanta one time got me for 7 for 80 in the first half. Just ran up on me, put that big ass hand in the middle of my chest, and leaned out.
That was 34-year-old Tony too.
That was old Tony. He had knee braces on, shit, gray hair. He was waving at his granddaughter in the stand and whooping my ass on 3rd down.
First off, again, thank you for your time, man. We're truly grateful. But from somebody who would have to play opposite, I think you're one of the greatest to ever do it. And I think you're one of the greatest players to put on pads. And there's no question that could be asked about you after a game, asked about you the week of a game that shouldn't be answered, at least starting in that way. And I have all the respect for you in the world.
Thank you for that, big guy. And I appreciate you guys paving the way both on the field and off the field, man.
Yeah.
It's you guys that make our transition off the field in this league, man, that much better, man, because you guys are doing it the right way, man.
Well, hell, you're doing it now, man. Shoot, the pod is amazing. The question.
I'm going to capitalize on it now.
You're supposed to. My last question for you, because playing in Pittsburgh, you know how Channing cut off the room when he was talking about 10s? I'm going to cut the room off, too. And I have to do this often. Talk about people who actually have Super Bowl rings, right? There's only, in this conversation, only you and I
He cut this off, but I didn't do this.
We're used to it.
Only you and I had enough playing habits come. But for you, Travis, how are seasons that don't end in a Super Bowl champion for the Kansas City Chiefs viewed now? Is that a failure?
1,000%. And I've always had it in my mind, even when the team was 2-14 my rookie year coming in. You know, if we're not trying and focused on winning in February, I don't even know why we're out here. We have to find a way to find the system to keep building, and that's everything, man. If you're not trying to win Super Bowls, man, I don't even want to play with you. And that's just the reality of it. And that's kind of the culture that Coach Reid has. Coach Reid will play you at CVS tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? We'll play right there in the parking lot, man. I don't care where it is, when it is, whether it's sleet, snow, a beautiful day, 70 and breeze. I don't give a damn. I'll play you wherever it is. I'm trying to get a championship, and I'm going to always fight for my team to be able to put our team in the best situation to win that, man.
Travis, as we wrap right here, man, I wanted to ask you, was 2008 when you transitioned to tight end, your freshman year at UC, was that your biggest pivot in life?
Yeah, the year that I got kicked out, when I came back, that's when they moved me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was still doing a little Wildcat QB stuff under Brian Kelly's offense. But when I made that transition to tight end and the focus that I had at that point in my life to try and do things the right way, and I really found that routine to find a way to get better, and I found a love to play tight end that I didn't really have at quarterback. There was a lot of nitpicky things that I was like, man, shut up. Why are you worried about this one little foot and the angle that it's at and like where I'm releasing the ball? Like, it still got there. You know what I mean? Like, I was that quarterback. I was like, man, you guys are getting too nitpicky, man. Let's just go out there and ball. You know? And I realized that that's not the quarterback mentality that you need to have. But at tight end, when I started to figure out and nitpick my game at tight end, I had so much success. Because of the ability I had, and really being back in the pocket, understanding like, man, if this guy would have ran that route a little bit more this way, he would have been wide open. I would have been able to hit him.
Got it.
Having that feel, that transition point, that 1,000% was probably the biggest difference. So that year with 100% was probably the pivoting year for sure.
Well, the good thing is, man, your throw at Cincinnati back to the quarterback worked out way better than your throw in the league, man. And I saw you recently say you was going to throw it, period, and they told you not to throw it to that guy. So it's probably better, man, that you switched. The whole world, the Kansas City Chiefs are definitely better for it. Your pockets are better for it, man. And we're grateful that you sat down with us, so we're better for it too, fam.
I appreciate it, fellas. You already know. Until the next time.
You represent the city boys now. don't let them down.
Appreciate you, boy.
You already know. You guys are the
Keep
real,
going,
man.
baby.
Appreciate
Keep
you
going.
jumping out here, man. Hopefully the flights weren't too crazy.
Yo,
Everything's wild right
bro,
now,
it's bad.
man.
It got bad. But right here, this little lady right here, bro.
I already told him that you guys were
Trav,
going to
she
too
was
funny,
not going to let us miss,
This is
dog.
Alicia.
He knows.
Just the craziest. I don't know. This might be the crazy. What's that?
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission.